So just a note for Dave, when you speak, turn your mic on because he's get recorded. So,
Yeah.
and you can introduce yourself. I'm not going to do it for you.
All right, sounds good. Nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Dave Allman. I'm excited to be joining the extension team as the 4-H program educator. And my role in the extension office is to engage young people in positive youth development. So I am intrigued with you all what you think are the biggest needs for helping young people in our communities. Certainly, we have schools, and there's a lot of ways that young people are engaged, but I am excited about this role as well. So, if right now I've been on the job for about a month, and so I'm excited to engage with each of you and kind of pick your brain about what you see are the needs of young people in our community and in our county.
Thanks,
Welcome
Dave.
aboard.
And you want to go around
Thanks.
and let Dave know who you are too, please?
Yeah, and where you're from too. What part of the county you're from? I'm interested in that as well.
Tom Trudeau, and I live over on 419 Chapel, the old Northwestern Chicago Depot,
Yeah,
and general contractor, home builder,
great.
District number 2.
Thanks, Tom.
Charlie Ortman, citizen rep. I live at 708 Ellis, just past a Quick Trip. I think I'm District 6. I'm on the city council as District 6. I don't know if that's the same one for the county anymore though, so I'll check into that and make sure. But I'm glad to see you. Doug Lippart's got some big shoes to fill, and when I heard your name, I was like, wow, they found somebody to fill Doug Lippart's shoes. Good enough. I know Kate's very busy and very community minded, and I'm sure you are as well. Some of the things we tried under Doug, of course, with all the programs he makes, and to me, it's just options to stay away from drugs. I mean, children have such odd but life-changing choices they get exposed to way too young, and if they have something positive that they enjoy and they really are passionate about it, it gives them something to balance against a choice of, do I want to drink this or try this drug or whatever.
Mhm.
So giving kids something that they really value, that makes them question some of these other paths that a lot of kids get trapped in. So the more choices, the better. Obviously, the Spark program was designed around another country's issues with kids, and they realized that there's good activities that respond to the same, that focus on the same stimulus those particular kids are looking for, and they gave them enough choices that every different minded child with the brain differences and whatnot would have a positive way to get that high. And it worked.
Mhm.
And that's what this is our little, version of that. And if you could expand on that or even, study it more. I haven't looked at it in years, but it seems to be working, and Spark seems to be working. But obviously programs that work, we should try to improve, get the best out of them we can for the amount of money, whatever's the best cost to, return. And I'll leave it at that. And thank you for stepping up.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. I just had lunch with Doug Lippart last week and was kind of getting some background on all of the great things he was doing while he was there, and we were talking about ways to move that forward. And so I'm in close contact with him and with Scott Griffiths at Spark. He's a good friend of mine too. So yeah, thanks for your comments. I agree. Yeah.
I'm Dave Mindel. I'm from Southern Ashland County. I think it's District 20, and I'm as far south as you can go. So,
Great.
but
Well, Dave, I'm really interested in how our office can serve Southern Ashland County, particularly young people in Southern Ashland County, and giving them similar opportunities that might be up here in the city. So
it'd be nice to see someone down there and it's at the school, maybe get some of the kids interested. My children and grandchildren all raised farming and outdoors and stuff.
Yeah.
Where the town kids don't have the ability to do it, and I'm sorry, a lot of parents don't even attempt to show them nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so give them something to do other than play on their cell phone after school or during school, so.
Totally. Did your kids go to Butternut or which school? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My children went to Butternut, I have a granddaughter right now in Butternut, and I had another one that she finished her last 2 years. She was in Butternut, and the last 2 years were in Park Falls. We're
Okay.
in Schwamigan,
Yeah.
due to problems with school.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd love to pick your brain too about who are people that would be potentially good volunteers down in the Butternut area for working with young people.
Good luck on that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I see it go every day.
Yeah.
And I got I get along good with kids. Most of the kids all know me,
Yeah.
and they treat me with respect and stuff, but, no one wants to step forward. When it comes to volunteering, the line goes the other way,
Mm.
for anything. It's sad.
Yeah.
There's a few elderly people, and I'm saying, my age and older, that volunteer for stuff, but you can't get younger generation to join organizations or nothing. It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. Good to meet you.
Represent this all. I live about 5 miles old farm, just a little bit off 13 on Fishville. I was involved, of course, I grew up on a farm, so I was involved in 4-H all the time. School, I was in Applegate,
Yeah.
did a lot of things. And my kids did that too. When they were stored cattle and had steers. We were pretty involved in it. So I think a lot like Dave does, the young generation, it's hard to get involved.
Mm.
Oh, I forgot to do that, but I talk kind of loud anyhow. So I think it's great that you're coming on and we'll work in the 4-H because that's critical on kids,
Yeah.
So that's about what I got to say, I guess.
Well, thanks, Tom. Nice to meet you too. My dad showed Angus at the fair and for 4-H when he was growing up too. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
it's a family affair a little bit for
Yeah.
me. And I'm meeting with Sandy Noss at the school district here, and there's like a big FFA leadership event next Monday. So I'm going to serve as a judge for that and make some connections with FFA too. So yeah, I think a lot to learn here about how to engage young people, but I'm committed to it and excited for it. So thanks for all your feedback.
Well, the next thing on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, a motion by Charlie, second by Tom to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we go with public comment. So, okay, not hearing none of that, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. That was November 17th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion by Charlie, second by Dave to approve the November minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Discussion items. Area Extension Director's Report.
Okay, so I have a list there, and so it's good to kind of talk about all of them at the same time and mix them up. I just want to see if this is George. Yes, he will not be able to attend today. He's very sorry. Staffing updates, so related to Dave starting, and mind you, Dave started like December 15th, so it was like right before Christmas, so, you know, before the holidays and everything, and then, so I consider him still very, very new in terms of he really started and, you know, in January. And it's been still working on onboarding lists and things like that. And in the meantime, and he'll do his report and everything, but Kansky and working on programs. So he's jumping right in. And that is related to Bayfield County, where Claire Emmons started in November for the Bayfield County 4-H position. So Dave and Claire have known each other from the past because both are working, you know, working at Northland. So they are already working together. So there will be more collaborations between Ashland and Bayfield County, which only strengthens the program completely. Want to let you know Joy, who is not able to be here today, just recently received our Excellence in Education Outreach Award for 20 plus years of service. So that's a big deal. And normally those awards are given at our all colleague conference, but we didn't have one in November last year because of the budget cuts. So they've been doing the Extension awards at our monthly online meetings of all colleagues. So I had nominated Joy for this, and then was able to present her with that award online to the Extension staff across the state at our January meeting. State and area updates. A state update that came in last night is that our chancellor, Chancellor Jennifer Mnuchin, so she's a chancellor of UW-Madison, so therefore our chancellor, has just taken a new position as president of Columbia University. So that position, she'll stay on as UW-Madison chancellor for the spring semester, and then they'll be doing a search for that position. George had asked me to make sure that I include the Understanding AI Forum for Local Government in this packet. So there is a piece about it, but I also sent you an email. So if you're interested in that, there's 4 forums that they're doing around the state specifically for how AI can help local government. The closest one to here is Lac du Flambeau, and then there's also one in Eau Claire, so it'd be the second closest, and those are in March. If you need more information or need me to resend something, let me know. And then the big news that I don't know if anybody knows about, I talked to George about it, and he didn't know, is that we're moving. So the extension office is moving to the current administration office, to Dan's office suite. So, and then administration is going to child support is going to the current extension office. So it's just those 3 offices are doing a switcheroo. So that was told to us like the day that Dave started. So, you know, here's your new office. Don't get used to it. So it was like right before Christmas. So we really didn't do much until after the holidays and then the new year. So if you step into the extension office right now, it's a complete and total mess. Trying to downsize things because we currently have 6 rooms. We're going down to 3 rooms. with no storage. So, last week, I attended the finance committee meeting with a request that we are able to hold over some funding. The extension 2025 budget, uh, didn't use about, it was over $35,000 because of the vacancy of 4-H. And even before Kate resigned her positions, she was only working part-time. So the county didn't get charged for that part-time work. So we saved a bunch of money. So I had requested that we be able to hold over some of that into the 2026 budget because we don't know what our storage needs are to be able to buy cabinets or bookcases or whatever we need for that. So the finance committee did approve funding to be held over. So at this point, that's a bit of a relief in terms of we can move in there, and the move is slated for Thursday and Friday of this week. So just a couple days from now. And once we're in and trying to get settled and everything, we can, purchase cabinets or whatever as needed. So I think once we're in, and I speak from somebody who doesn't have an office here, so I think once we're in and settled, it'll be okay. It's just a bit of chaos right now to have to do that. I think that's it for my director report. Does anybody have any questions?
So you think this new office is gonna work then, for as far as enough room?
Well, we don't have,
Pretty tight.
it's going to be very tight. We're losing a lot of storage space because the current suite has that vault, which is all full of, Extension has a lot of programming supplies.
Yeah.
Like we do outreach, that's what we
Yeah.
do. We're not sitting at the computer. So yeah, it's going to be tight. It's probably going to stay messy because of that. But we'll do what we can. Yep.
Where is the office at?
The new one or the old one? Well, they're all on the first floor.
Well,
So the extension office, do you know where the vet's office is? And
I know.
that corner.
Talking over on one,
No, right down here,
Here.
downstairs.
yeah. Well, your office is right across.
Yeah, we're across from the vet's office.
Okay.
So we're going down to the other end of the building where Dan's office is.
Okay.
Which is a much smaller suite. So we're losing storage space. We're losing our meeting area, which is where we have staff meetings, but we also use to have volunteer meetings and things like that for some programming. So we won't have that. The only actual meeting spaces in this building is this room and then sometimes the jury room if that's available. So this whole building doesn't have a lot of space for meeting. It's been talked about several times, not this particular move, moving us into administration. They've worked on moving extension to various places a few times since I've been in this role. Child support needs more space. And that's just a fact, right? Because they have to have a certain amount of privacy. They have to keep people separated, so they've needed more space for a while. And then with the hiring of a new financial director, financial administrator, I'm not sure what the title is, for the county, Dan doesn't have room in the administration office for an extra person, an extra office. So I think he just figured it's a good time to make this transition. Plus with all the space need work that you all have been doing with the space needs study, this could be temporary, who knows? But it's not ideal.
So, you see now where the library's gonna open pretty quick here, the new remodel one.
Yeah.
So that third floor, they've got meeting rooms.
Yep.
and stuff, so.
That'll be
it should,
nice.
I mean, well, we had a meeting there
Yep.
once on your,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, that was a nice
so
thing.
that might open up a little bit of, if you can have more people for a meeting,
Yeah,
or even our meeting, you
right.
know,
Yep.
but this kind of falls in now that we got a firm meeting date, so you're kind of got that.
Right. This is locked in
reserved,
for
yeah.
this, yeah, for this
So
room.
that works out good.
Yeah. I mean, one of the problems too is just sharing. So Lissa and Heidi will share an office space. And the way that the room is, like, we really can't put a divider or anything. So they're gonna be sharing a space, which makes it difficult because we do, when we are at our computers, it's because we're doing a meeting or we're doing a teaching event. So Lissa, I'm pointing at her and saying Lissa. Heidi does a lot of teaching online. So there's just a lot of coordination, that has to happen so that people are, and Dave will be in Dan's current office. So, when Dave is out doing something else, if somebody needs to use his space for some privacy, we'll make it work. It's just scheduling. But anyway, just wanted to let you all know that because we're not sure of, how many people on the county board are aware of this kind of shuffle.
Yeah, that's the first I heard of it. Yeah. Well, next is B, education highlights presented by the extension staff.
So Lissa has a meeting going on right now that she's at elsewhere, and Joy and Marisa have programs today too. So we'll just have these two, and we'll let Heidi go first because Dave has no idea what's going on.
Okay, good morning, everyone. In compiling my education report, I noticed there's been a lot of parent education these past couple of months. And I think the parent education that's outlined really highlights the diversity of programs that we're offering to parents. So really trying to reach parents where they are with information that is most helpful for them. So we have Circle of Security, which wrapped up in November. That was for parents of babies and really young children. We have programs for parents that are divorcing, programs for parents of children that have experienced trauma, general parenting programs, and then programs specific to parents with teens. So really just trying to provide an array of programs that suits people wherever they find themselves in their parenting journey. The program I wanted to highlight today is the Strengthening Families program, which is an in-person program. It's a collaboration with Extension and Spark. We are actually starting that program up tonight. So tonight will be our first session. It's an 8-week series, so it's a long one. And it's in person, which is really nice because many of our parenting programs right now are virtual. This is when we have been able to get enough local interest and availability to hold in person. So that program, we ran it in the summer and we had 12 parents participate, and they participated in the full 8-session series. This time we have 14 parents signed up. So I'm assuming most of them will come tonight. And the Strengthening Families program is funded by DHS, and they provided grants in several communities throughout the state to run this program, Ashland being one of them. And Ashland is like the poster child for this class. DHS, we have to report on the grant. I don't, but Spark does. And they're very pleased with how this is going here. They're very impressed that we were able to have 12 families start and finish the program. That's pretty unheard of when it comes to voluntary programs like this. And I think it really speaks to the strength of the Spark program, which is what Charlie was talking about earlier, and the relationships that Scott has built with these kids and with their families. DHS asked about what are your promotional strategies? How are you getting all these families signed up and sticking with it? And Scott was like, we don't have promotional strategies. I just send a text to these families that I know well, and they sign up right? So it's just, I think it's just a beautiful extension of the work that he and his staff have put in to these relationships over the years. So they obviously, the Spark program focuses on the youth, and now we have this parent component to help parents as well. So, looking over we did a survey of the 12 families that participated this summer. And just looking over the survey results, we asked if anything had changed. So the survey went out about a month after the end of the program. So we were looking to see if there had been any changes in their parenting, in their households since taking the program. And when asked if anything had changed in their parenting as a result of this program, the parent responses fell into 3 main buckets. The first being self-regulation. So many parents spoke to how they're better able to remain calm. I'm practicing more patience. I'm trying to be less controlling. I know how to remain calm and wait before trying to engage with my teenager. Another bucket was communication. So a lot of the class focused on building good communication with teens. And so the survey results show that parents were able to use those skills, that they're asking more open-ended questions relating to my 13-year-old son. My communication has improved. I stopped using never statements. So we talked about when things are heated, we tend to say always or never, trying to eliminate that from our vocabulary. One person said her daughter is more willing to engage. She's trusting me more with information about her relationships where previously she would not have shared. So some pretty powerful comments. The third bucket in this survey was that people really appreciated the shared support. And so just being able to talk about issues and situations, learning we're not the only ones dealing with a troubled teen, meeting some new people with different perspectives and ideas that could help contribute. So a lot of good stuff came out of the survey, both qualitative and quantitative, and I can share the survey out if you're interested in reading more about it. But just really excited to start this new round of this class and see where we can go from here and keep building this program. Any questions on this program or others? Yeah, Charlie.
So 12 families?
12 parents, yeah.
How many children do?
How many children do they represent?
Yeah.
Lots. Some of
Like,
them have like 5 kids. That would be a good thing to survey, actually, of how many kids are reached indirectly through this program. I would bet it would be between 20 and 25 kids.
we bet too. So
Yeah.
previous to this, Spark's been around for what, 5 or 6 years now?
Yeah.
Years maybe?
Do you know how long? Time goes fast. I feel like,
Minute.
yeah, I was going to say 8 maybe.
I guess if it can be easily done, I'm not trying to throw a bowling ball up in the air for someone else, but
Yeah.
obviously when Spark started, they were exploring. So I guess I would like kind of see what's the graph of programs they used, what took and took off, what are their most promising. This is really, for whatever they were doing turned into this. So clearly
Yeah.
that was a line on the graph, but
Yep.
I guess I would like to maybe get an overall, maybe Scott would give us an update or just provide us
Sure.
a small sheet, executive summary of tries and failures, tries and successes. And so if we know, kind of tell us where's the best place to put the most amount of, what's providing the best return for effort and money.
Mhm.
If he probably I'm sure he's thinking that all the time anyway, but
Yeah,
maybe he
absolutely.
could give us a snapshot of where that's going.
Sure. Yeah, I can talk to him about that.
But
I'll be
this-
seeing him a lot over the next
This is
few
very
weeks.
exciting.
Yeah,
And if that,
I agree.
so so he got them to trust him through relationships, which is always the best.
Yep.
But is there any way what is the totality of families that maybe should be doing this, if not all of them? And so
Mhm.
what percentage are we getting and what percentage
Hmm.
how good do we need to be to get all of it?
Right.
Because all those kids need to just say no sometime in their life, and
Yeah.
we can prepare them for that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, Dave, I guess you're up next then.
Sure thing. So Yeah, as Mary said, I've kind of been on the job for about a month and the holidays were in there, but as I've been getting going, there's just general onboarding stuff that I've been doing, but I think that some of my highest priorities are one, reaching out to the existing 4-H clubs and 4-H leaders and 4-H participants and letting them know that I'm here. And I've started to do that work and reaching out by email and by phone calls, just to say that I'm in the office and I'm here to support those leaders that are doing the good work with young people. So that's been high on my list. We've got sort of about 6 clubs. And so I've been kind of working to be in touch with those people that are already committed to 4-H. Also kind of at the same time trying to broaden the reach of 4-H and trying to seek out other leaders. That's why I was kind of picking your brains as well about who are the people in our communities within our county that want to engage as volunteers with the 4-H, the larger 4-H community. So I've been kind of meeting with various people and people that have been involved in the past, like Doug Liphart as well. And then lastly, a big part of my work has been to support the 4-H Can Ski program, which is the cross-country skiing program, long-standing program that was started by Doug Liphart. And we have, I think, about 40 kids in Ashland County that are learning how to cross-country ski, some learning for the very first time, and some racing in ski races. So we've got 8 middle schoolers participating in the conference meet down in Minocqua tomorrow. So we're going to be, there's some kids that are ski racing and some that are these little 4-year-old kindergartners that are putting on skis for the first time. And Charlie, to your point, getting kids out there and appreciating and enjoying winter. And Dave, like you're saying, that's activity that they're not on their phones and on a screen. So I've been involved with that. I've been making sure that program is on a strong footing for this winter. And that's a strong collaboration with Bayfield County. Bayfield County has about another 40 kids in Bayfield County participating in the program. And so almost every day of the week, there's some can ski programming. The middle schoolers practice on Tuesday, Thursdays. We have another group that gets together of elementary kids on Friday afternoons at the hospital trails. And then on Sundays up at Asheville Bay, that's where the Bayfield group meets. And so lots and lots of kids out there in the snow. And thankfully, we've got some real snow this winter. So that's been really fun and really positive, and I'm happy to be keeping that program going strong. So that's kind of what I've been up to this first month or so. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the coming months too. Yeah.
That's awesome. I wanted to make an ask. I'm not sure how, I think you could, but I don't know if you have the time. So Land Conservation has a poster and speaking contest. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So have you talked to Scott Caven about it? Are you already assisting in that in a way?
The Land Conservation Office is high on my list. I was just talking with Mary Jo yesterday or 2 days ago about collaboration with 4-H on that project, and I think there are lots of other projects.
Well, the Wisconsin Landwater Conservation Association, they also offer conservation camps.
Oh yeah.
So there might be a lot of opportunities in their list that you could 4-H, you could give to your kids.
Yeah.
Or give them the chance to do
We
it.
always advertise in the 4-H information when the information for the poster contest and the speaking contest comes
Okay.
out. Yeah, so we try to help with the distribution of that. And I know in the past, we have occasionally been invited to help judge or whatever,
Yeah.
those types of things.
Well, we just had a meeting and we judged the speakers and the posters Friday, I think, but talking about it, I mean, sometimes we get a bunch, sometimes some years we were really struggling to figure out how to get into the schools.
Mhm.
But I think there could, I mean, if you're really good at it, you'd have 2 days of judging. You wouldn't find, so I'm trying to I'm thinking about, having a discussion, on where would the amount, how many kids do we want that we could actually, and how can we advertise and get to that point? Without, or do we want 1 million? I mean, to me, it'd be like, oh, I wish everybody was interested in conservation. But I think then at some point we should be able to set out a process that we then all work on in our parts and get 10 kids, say we want 10 kids a year, 15, 20, and then we work to that goal rather than just, throwing out hooks and hoping we catch, which is kind of what it's been. So some teachers participate, for 5 years, they go away and the next people aren't interested. So I was thinking like perhaps somebody could offer public speaking lessons, and they go in and do it for the teacher could take a break and go do things, and some LandCon or some 4-H people would go in and say, here's how you make a really good persuasive speech, or, what is it? Entertain, inform, or persuade. Those are the 3 speeches. And the topics would be land conservation topics.
Yeah.
And then the school wouldn't have to worry about anything, just giving us time and access to kids, which is probably an easier sell. Then, I mean, we've gotten that response before. We already did our curriculum and God stamped it and it cannot be changed. So anyway, perhaps we could all get together and think of a strategy where we would get a set amount of kids and decide how many we want. Anyway, I guess I'm just saying we should look at this and make a better plan, because it's been kind of random year to year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think to your point, I think another one of the things that I'm really interested in is what are the entities within the county that my office can collaborate with on engaging young people, and land conservation is a great entity within the county, but I think there are other entities within the county where, I mean, the young people are the next generation of civic leaders, right? And so they are going to be engaged in the county eventually. And so to have them be aware of the activities and what happens here in the county courthouse, I think that is another way to engage youth. And I think that sort of collaboration, what are the opportunities for each entity to bring young people in? And I think those are conversations worth having for sure. Yeah.
Okay, next item will be discussion on health and well-being educator position.
Thanks. So last committee meeting that we had, I was asked to provide information on a position to replace or continue to expand upon the nutrition education being lost with FoodWise going away. So we discussed it at the last meeting, and then in your packet, then there's a bit of a revised one, which is a little bit more focused on what types of educational opportunities could be offered. At the last meeting, I believe it was Charlie wanted me to focus a bit more on like the youth aspect of it and the children's nutrition. So I kind of added that in terms of like healthy eating lessons for youth and families in schools and childcare centers. And we still continue to do some of that work. But that will also decline a little bit over time here because Marisa is still involved. And most of that type of work at this point happens at Bad River. We're not currently doing any nutrition education in the schools as we were able to do with FoodWise. Excuse me. So I had. Lucky cry.
Just a reminder, Marisa is funded through a grant through September, and that
Thank-
grant is one that is specific to work with the tribes. So
Correct.
that's why the programming throughout the county has dropped off, because that was what Stephanie was doing and she's no longer here.
Correct, thank you. And then Stephanie still has 20% time, which is also focused on Bad River. So there was some additional funding that came into the Health and Wellbeing Institute specifically for tribal partners around the state. So that is kind of still it's still happening at this time, but it's slated to be done at the end of September. And of course, Joy reports to you all on cooking classes and things like that she does at the Girls and Boys Club. Joy's grant that she works under is the FERTEP program, which is the federally recognized tribal extension program. So that is all specific to Bad River here in the county. So anyway, I put this together. Some of the information is the same as what I gave you 2 months ago in terms of like the estimated costs and things. That doesn't change. Some of the questions that I have down at the bottom, I had also had on the other page. So, is this programming a priority for Ashland County? Does it justify an investment in that? What sources of funding exist in the county budget already, or can the county co-fund with another entity? And then also the note that Extension wants to continue this type of education around the state. So the Health and Wellbeing Institute is currently pursuing the ability to co-fund, just like Heidi's position and Dave's position is co-funded between the county and the state. We are looking for funding to be able to co-fund health and well-being educators. It's just not there at this point in time. Excuse me. So that's where I'm at here, and I give you the information, and if my suggestion here is if the committee, the extension committee is really interested in pursuing this, that you need to get that into the minutes, first of all, and then you need to champion it at the county board level, because come budget time, Ashley, you all know Ashland County doesn't have a lot of cash sitting around. So you'd need to champion it at the county board level.
May I address?
Yes.
So excellent work, Mary. I think you covered everything, the benefits and the cost. It doesn't seem like a lot of money to me. It doesn't seem like we would have a hard time finding, but perhaps the easiest sell, if it's going to sell at all, would be to try at halftime and then reevaluate in a year, see what what you've accomplished, who you've reached. You can have some metrics that, number of kids, number of opportunity, whatever, volume of people served and benefited. And then maybe extend it. So if that's good, would more of it, would you have enough, would you be able to reach more people with a full-time position? Would your results double or not? So what is the need, and how much do we need to grab, to meet it all if the rest of the board finds it valuable? I, of course, have been sold for 15 years. But realistically, I would try for a full-time position. Well, honestly, I guess I need to think of that more. Even me thinks probably a half-time position, and then, let the whoever, if it gets passed, whoever is doing it, say I'm not able to reach this or that. There is more volume of opportunity that I couldn't reach. And it's 40,000 for the 42,000 doesn't seem like much to try an investment. It's an investment, and then measure its return and then see if it's worth it. I don't know how the rest of the board here, committee feels about it. That's my opinion. I think you reach, these kids, you reach them, we all know they're not eating right. We all know there's an obesity crisis in children. So, I mean, if we spend 41,000 and it doesn't work, well, we've spent 41,000, we don't do it again. If we spend it and we know, reasonable differences, reasonable habit changes, then we look at funding it further or at least keeping it the way it is. So I think, Mary, would you talk to Dan about it? Would you approach Dan Grady about it? Or would you rather, George?
Yeah, it's better if it comes from the committee. So, I mean, I work for extension, right?
Yeah.
So I'm your extension representative.
Mhm.
So,
I
so
just think
it's,
maybe you could speak to the particulars better. if
yeah, I
there's
definitely
questions.
can speak to the particulars.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I have talked with him about this.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
and like last year at this time, when all this stuff about Food Wise was starting even.
Yeah.
So, but that was then, right? This is now, so.
Well, and it's important to note that nationally, enough people were convinced of the value of this that the federal government funded it for years, and it did its work, and it helped reasonably. I'm assuming maybe it didn't, but they kept it going, and now they cut it in what I guess we could consider odd political times. So we don't know. I'm not sure what the rationale for cutting it was, but as far as locally, we have to determine, was it valuable here and was it valuable enough that we think we should try funding it ourselves?
Yeah,
And for 42,000, that's not a big amount.
yeah, I definitely think it's better to come from the committee initially. And then, hey Blake,
Hello.
and what I'm hearing from you, and I'd be interested in hearing from the other committee members too. So the bullet points that I have there, like the first four are really like direct education. And less of the support for partnering organizations in terms of like running coalitions and all those types of things that often reach more people, right? Because you're empowering organizations to help more people rather than just direct, whereas an educator going to a classroom, right? So, but that's what I'm hearing, is the direct education, what I'm hearing is important to Charlie in terms of that's a big impact, and it is, and both of those things are important. So I'd be interested in hearing like other viewpoints on such a position in the county.
Well, I think it's important, I mean, because a majority of the younger kids don't eat properly. We all know that. So, but also the county's on a really tight budget. I mean, it's not this one program. Every place has got something they want funded, so it puts a lot of pressure on the county board to decide where this money's gonna go. But it's definitely a good program, and we should try to encourage, that we can try to get some funding. And I agree with Charlie. I mean, we might as well start at the halftime and work our way up if it succeeds. So, do you want to talk to George? Because he's actually the chairman. He'd probably be the one to talk to Dan more about it.
Yeah, I can do that. And I think too that if the committee is interested in doing that, you should have a formal motion and that of
Yeah.
interest in pursuing discussing the position, and it's just so that it's
Gets
like
in
in
there.
there, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to hold off on this motion, or do you want to just make a motion now that we truly support it? Well, yeah, because we're a ways away from the new budget, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
That just passed, so I guess we have time, so.
I have a question or comment, maybe Mary can help. If the county were to sustain this as a half-time position, and then in the future co-funding were to become available through extension, would it be more likely that co-funding would be offered to counties that have sustained the program?
That's a good question, and I can't answer that because I'm not that kind,
Yeah.
I'm not a decision maker like
It's a
that, but
consideration, though. I would think that if,
I would assume
yeah,
so,
okay.
though, that if there was already something in place.
right, it would
that
be
would
easier
be
to
more
then
likely,
maintain it
right?
with.
And we don't have, there are some county health and well-being educators, longstanding, but there weren't any up here. So, Bayfield County is putting some funding into health and well-being, and so Stephanie has taken that position. So Stephanie is still, employed with Extension, mainly Bayfield County. So, but that, again, is part-time, same type of thing. Excuse me. But yes, to Heidi's point, as Extension works towards that, if there's funding in a county and the county says, yeah, we want that, we have money available to co-fund that, that is way more likely than is that where the Extension side of the funding would go.
So I guess my motion would be we're interested in evaluating it and we would like it on a future agenda.
That doesn't.
Is that,
Yeah, I can just put that down as an agenda item.
okay,
Yeah. Because that's.
then we don't need a motion.
That's item 7 on their future agenda item, so. We'll just keep that in mind then.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, Mary, this was good. Did you give a copy of this to Dan?
Yeah, he has it. Well, it's online. I mean, anybody can find it.
Well, item D then is an open discussion of the committee for inputs and comments to be passed on to the board's planning committee. So we've talked about this several times already. So has anybody got any ideas or what they'd like to see put into this comprehensive plan? Charlie, have you
Well,
got anything new or?
I
know
don't
we
really,
talked about this.
I think at some point we want to have a extension portion of the plan. How they support the vision and of course describing how they support just preparing the comprehensive plan. And then if there's ways that can be improved. But that's already, that's kind of prepared already. I'm not working it specifically, but I did create a kind of like an outline of what we should look at. I just my time hasn't been there yet, but I'll get to it.
Yeah,
I mean, these plans really are our only opportunity to reach Madison, short of joining a lobbying group.
Yeah.
And if we just kind of write it that way from now on, we'll have our own little citizens lobby, so. Just glacial speed. But it was pre-Hanna, so I wasn't as informed. And so I think if George gets that and, it's a little bit, between the next meeting, then first collection, so that's why I think. I guess it would be the same heading.
well, then we'll move on to future agenda items. So that's probably the main one that we're gonna discuss for. That would be the March meeting. Anybody else got anything they think they want them to have on the agenda?
Well, maybe, I don't know how many people actually know how involved extension is in comprehensive planning, and maybe, Mary, would you be interested in giving a little primer on that? It'd be in the records.
Yeah, or Lissa can, because Lissa's actually on the committee.
Do you think that
So,
we should bother? Would that be a valuable?
I don't know. I know that,
Okay.
so this item D is on all of the committee.
Yep.
It's not just this committee. It's on all the committee agendas as a standing item right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. But none of those other committees have the role in the comprehensive plan like extension does. Well, I guess I would just, maybe something at the full board would be a better place for Lissa to describe to everyone what this committee does or what extension does regarding comprehensive plans. I mean, the last one, they basically wrote it.
Right, but
This-
we're not writing this one. So
No.
there's a consultant. So this is part of the committee, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but a big part. Oh, anyway. Never-
Well, Liz is
Yeah.
taking care of that, right, as a representative and thing, so. Hopefully she'll be at the next meeting so she can explain.
Yeah, she recently, I think the most recent thing is the survey. So she's been working on helping get surveys out to citizens. Here comes the heat. So and that is getting that data in to analyze and everything. So so that's her most recent contribution. So her role in this has been data gathering. So there was the 12 groups that she had gotten together to do data gathering in person, focus groups, and now just the general survey. And then all that data is put together and given to the committee in order to make decisions.
Well, we'll go into the next meeting, which was gonna be March 23rd. And I assume that's a Monday, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It's,
And,
Monday.
yeah, and, so we all know that, so I guess I'll entertain a motion and for adjournment. Okay, motion by Charlie, second by Dave to adjourn the meeting. At basically 10 o'clock.
You got out on time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned then.